So welcome back to Pro School. Today is going to be a little bit different because I don't have anything specific to talk about. So today is you guys get to have me for however long you want to have me. If you have anything that you're trying to work on or that you're struggling with, or that you don't quite understand about ProLine, anything at all, just hit me with a question, and I'm happy to dive into it. If you just tell me how this time can be useful, and we'll dive in. Anything I can help you guys with.
I do have a question that just popped up with one of my salesmen this morning. So there was a customer that contacted him through his ProLine, and they shared a text, picture text, but
Okay.
he couldn't pull it up to view it from his phone. So I don't know if they're not doing something right, or what I have to do to make sure they could view it from their phone.
It was a photo.
Yes.
It's interesting. It could be. Do you know do you know if it was like a photo that the homeowner took on their phone, or was it something that they like downloaded off the internet and sent? Do you know
I
any kind of
believe
information?
it was just um it might have been like a shared contact for an adjuster, because that's
Okay.
what their messages was relaying back and forth with, was for an adjuster.
If they shared a contact through the text messaging, it's not great. The sales rep should be able to tap on it and it will pull up the code for the contact share. It's frustratingly difficult for ProLine to be able to understand those shared contacts because they're designed to be opened and shared through more directly with the phone. And so it's a really like kind of difficult problem. It's something that we want to work on more and try to get it where you can open that up and save it into ProLine or something to that effect. The main problem is that those it's I can't remember the type of the file. It's designed to be opened and saved as a contact on a phone, and we need it to open and save as a contact in ProLine. And the languages that are used for the contact sharing file and that are used in ProLine are completely different. So there has to be a translation, and there's basically nothing, like no one has ever done that before. So we're completely starting from scratch. To my knowledge, there's no other platform or tool that has ever done that. So it's something that we do want to have where it can be done. It's just something that's a little bit more challenging than most other things that we do in ProLine. So as it is right now, the best that we can offer is is he can tap on it. It will pull up the code, and so it will be kind of jumbled, but he will be able to pull out the phone number and the email and the name manually. If that doesn't work for some reason, then he's just going to need to ask the customer to send the phone number and email and name manually. That would be the only way to get that information.
Yeah, I
Um,
think he did tap on it and nothing um came up.
okay.
Um, but I will let him know for next time.
Do you know what the which sales rep's name was it?
It was Chance.
Chance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will check on it and see, because it should, when he taps on it, open, and it's not great, but it will actually open it up and share the data so that it's accessible. It doesn't look pretty, but it will work. Um, so it should do that. I will check and look. Uh, I don't want to necessarily just be going through all his messages. Do you know which contact it was that he was talking with?
Um, Let me double check. I believe it was Emily Taylor, but let me double check.
Emily Taylor.
Yeah, it was Emily Taylor.
Okay. I will dig in and see what's going on with it. It's also it is a real possibility that Apple decided to update how they're doing those files, and now it doesn't work anymore with how we were opening them. It's a very challenging thing to be able to open up. So I'll look into it and see what we can do. And I might be able, if I can't get it to open, I might be able to extract the information. But I think in the short-term solution and in general, the solution to that situation is just be like, hey, just tell the customer, hey, I'm not able to open that. Can you send the number over to me, or the name and number to me just over text instead of sharing the contact with me. I know that's not a great solution, but it's probably the best way to get that data right
Well,
now.
he did contact me and I was able to pull it up on my end.
Oh,
But
you
like
were?
from, yeah, but from his phone, like, cause like if they're ever out, of the office, we both were happened to be in the office at the same time. So I was able to go into my ProLine and pull that information for
Mm.
him, but he
So you know
wasn't
what I'm
able to.
talking about, how it doesn't look
Yes,
very pretty,
yes,
but you
yes,
can see it. Okay.
yes.
The that's good to know. So it works on desktop. So it might just be that the mobile app for some reason is not opening it correctly. So let me make a note of that and I will dig into it. Um Matt, just FYI, just want to let you know we're not talking about anything specific today. We're just doing a Q&A. So we're just digging into anything that you have that you can use help with. And so we're talking about sharing contacts over ProLine. All right. Uh, so I think that covers it. Right, Kyla. So
Yes.
I will look into that. And I'll get back to you. I'll reach out to you and let you know what I find.
Okay.
All right. So anybody else? Um, how can I help you today when it comes to ProLine?
So the only thing I had was when we go to like upload files or whatever, sometimes I try to put those in there and I have to like refresh or like close out the app and pull it up again. It just doesn't let me click on it and upload it like directly the first time. I kind of have to reset it. I didn't know if that was typical or if not really.
How recently were you having those problems? Was it like today or last week?
Just like yesterday.
Yesterday? Okay. You're not the only person to mention this. We did the hard thing is like replicating it so that we can figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to do that. We did an update to that upload system about 4 days, like I think it was on Thursday. That I think partially fixed it, but I think there's still some situations where it's not working. So what you're talking about is when you go to, is it on mobile or desktop? That helps me to know.
Actually, I think both. And then like sometimes on the computer, I'll take a file and like drag it over and it like refreshes the whole web page and kind of clears out what I was working on or whatever as well.
Okay, let me look at this. Demo account. Oh, that's not what it is. So this is what's been tough is it's like it seems to always work when I try it. I haven't been able to figure out the situation in which it breaks because I need to be able to see um the do you is there any possible context that you might be able to help me with? Like, is it specific types of files? Is it when you're uploading a certain number of files?
I mean, I usually just do them like one at a time. So like if I have like a roof report from roofer or whatever, and I get like the email with the attachment from that, and I'll just put that screen right beside ProLine, and I go to drag it over there, and it'll one, it like won't let me, or two, it'll like once I drag it over there and drop it, it like refreshes like the entire page instead of putting the file in there. Then I have to like refresh the page again, basically, and then I can get it to drop in there.
Interesting. I'd be interested to see how big those files are. We we recently did increase the limit. The size limit is pretty massive on what we'll allow as far as file uploads go. So I don't think that's the problem. But let me see, what
I was
account
trying
number
to
we on?
pull
Is
one
this
up
the
quick to see
demo?
if I could find like a size idea for you. At least it shouldn't be that
Shouldn't be
big.
that big. Yeah. Let me see. I can't seem to find.
It's like 296 kilobytes or whatever.
Yeah, that should be fine. It is a PDF file.
Yeah. Let's see if I can just do one for fun here. And then like that, like I just drug it over that time and it didn't do like anything. I dropped it in the box and it didn't move or refresh or like put the file to the job. It just kind of sat there.
Interesting. Can you try to do it a second time and see what happens?
Yeah, I just refreshed the page, so it'll probably probably work this time, but I'll give it a rip.
Let's see.
Yeah, so that time I did it. Usually, like as soon as I refresh the page, it works every time. It's just like sometimes if I'm working on ProLine for a half an hour, then I go to add a job file or a roof drawing to a job file, then it just doesn't do anything, or it like takes my page and refreshes it.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, there might be something where it's keeping, it's not fully resetting. It might be keeping a copy or something of.
And then kind of connected, but not really. One more thing was just like if we have company cam, like the easiest way to do that is to just download the file from company cam and then upload the file into like the prospect's job.
Yes, as of right now.
Okay.
By the end of March, we anticipate having a full sync with company cam. So
Okay.
something that we're working on. But it is an undertaking. But it's about halfway done right now. We're getting the kind of final touches on it. We already had a company cam integration, so we're not building from scratch. We just have to set up that sync, and it's a pretty robust process to make sure it works, and there's a lot of things to consider. But we anticipate having that done by end of March.
Okay.
So and
Sounds good.
then
That was the two biggest things I had.
okay. Yeah, I think yeah, it seems like the uploader works if you reload the page. It's the situations where it's been open for a while that it seems to not be seems to be doing something. So I'll kind of dig into that and see. Next time it happens, if you're on desktop, can you do me a favor and you can right click anywhere? I don't know how it works on Mac. Are you on Windows or Mac?
Mac.
You're on a Mac. Okay, it might be a little different. You on using Chrome,
Safari.
Safari? Okay.
Double whammy for you, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It might still work if you can you do like I think it's on Mac. It's not called a right click. It's something else. Can you like open up the menu like this? Can you see that on my screen?
Yeah. Let me
Are you
see.
able to do something like that?
Yeah, it just says back, reload page, save page as, print page is all I'm getting.
Okay. And there might be like a more or something. Do you see something that says inspect?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do it on Safari. There's part of the reason we need to be able to recreate it is in order to see if I can recreate it, then I can see if there's an error that would be relevant to what's going on. So if I can see the inspect element and see if there's relevant errors, then there are some errors, but I don't know if they're yeah, these are nothing relevant to uploading files. So yeah, it's if I can see potential errors that might be causing it, that will really help me to figure out how like what's going on.
Okay.
So but in the meantime, yeah, it's just refresh the page. And I think they're on mobile, you can always go up to the right because it's a little harder to like completely close out the app on mobile. If you can go up to the right, there's a refresh app. It says it right here too, but you can do this on mobile. That is another way of refreshing and kind of starting over if something's not working right. So
Okay. That's like the same as closing it out without closing it out type thing.
almost yeah, it's almost the same. Closing it out completely through the phone is supposed to be the same and more. But people's phones do weird things I've found where, like, if you close it out too fast and then open it again too fast, it doesn't actually fully close it out. So that I've been kind of leaning towards telling people just to refresh this way. It's
Okay.
like you need to refresh the mobile apps, just do it inside of ProLine using refresh app first before you try anything else.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. So what was the other thing that you mentioned?
The company cam. You already talked about that a
Oh,
little
company
bit.
cam.
Just
Yeah.
how to the easiest way to get photo files in there, but
It will be it will be the way I think is going to be set up. And I'd be interested to hear if this is if you think there's an issue with this, but company cam, when you upload anything to company cam to a project, company cam is connected to the ProLine project, then it will automatically create a company cam folder that contains all the content from the company cam. Are you guys there? Matt, can you hear me?
yeah, now I can. It cut out for a little bit there.
Yeah. All right. Did you hear what I was saying about company cam?
No, you were just getting started.
Okay. So if you add something to company cam with company cam connected to ProLine, then the matching project in ProLine, a folder will get created for company cam. It'll have a little company cam icon on it too. And when you click into it, it'll have all the company cam images and photos and videos.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I like that.
Okay. That's how I anticipate that working. So something we're working on. All right. Gavin, anything I can help you with today? You with us? You with us, Gavin? I guess not. Anything else from you, Kyla, or Gavin? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I had a question. So
Yeah.
we're still doing a lot of tweaking to our quotes. So when any of the sales reps are putting them together, I'm looking at them and it's giving them a notification that the quote got viewed. So they're hitting me up, hey, did you look at that or was that the homeowner? Is there a setting that we can use to turn that off so that it doesn't notify them? Or
The
Mhm.
this is quotes that have been sent or quotes that have not been sent.
Quotes that have been sent.
Yeah, quotes that have been sent. So
Correct.
they can turn that off in their account settings under notifications if they don't want it. But generally, that is just not the only way that it would be you is if you click on the link that was sent to the customer. If you're opening it in ProLine, that's not going to send that. So if they've sent it to the homeowner, and as
Okay.
long as you or them are not clicking on the link that's actually in the text message, if you
Okay.
click on that link, it will register as an open. But as long as you're not opening that link, and then it is the homeowner opening it. So
Got it. Yeah, I
generally,
think I'm
people
using a little
like,
arrow to view it. I'm not clicking on a link. I'm
yeah,
just going to like the details and then just
yeah. If you view it here, that does
yeah.
not register as an open.
Okay, it must have been a coincidence then.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay,
What
that's good to know.
was there a reason why they didn't think it was the homeowner?
One of the sales reps just said, "Hey, was that you that looked at that quote, or was it the homeowner?" And I said, it must have been me. I looked at it just to check on everything, but we must have, based on what you're telling me, we must have both looked at it at around the same time or something."
Yeah,
Good to know.
that's definitely because it's a completely different page.
Okay.
So yeah, it will not register as an open if and actually now that I think about it, I don't think it registers as an open at all if you're logged into ProLine. So I think even I have to review how I have this set up, but I believe even if you click the link here, I don't think that's going to register as an open. We can test this right now. So this is a quote that was sent. I think it was one of these, but it is signed. So it might not register an open since it's signed. But let's see.
I could try it on my end too with one of ours. I could do it and see if my rep
Okay.
gets a notification.
It did register as an open. So if you use this link, I might go back and make it so that if you're logged into ProLine, it doesn't it doesn't register. Because yeah, if you're currently logged into ProLine, there's not any good reason why that would register as an open. But if we, so this just registered an open, clicking on that link. But if we go here and we open it here,
Okay.
I can open all of these right now, and we'll go back and look at the activity, and you can see there's no new opens. So that opening it that way does not register as an open. And then
Okay.
unless I find something there's a reason not to do this, I'm going to make it so even if you click this link, if you're currently logged into ProLine, because I can detect that. I can't detect necessarily who it is, but I can detect whether or not someone is logged into ProLine. If they are logged into ProLine, I'll just make it where it doesn't register an open.
Okay, perfect.
So
Thank you.
that should moving forward. You can
It must have been a
constantly tell.
coincidence. Yeah, because I didn't open the link. I opened it the way you did with the little arrow. So
Yeah.
okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
If he doesn't want it, he can turn it off in the notifications area. So it's under quote opened, and he can just deselect these. But most people really love it.
I love that feature. I ran into something that I'm just curious if you have any insights on. Speaking of opening quotes, I had somebody I sent a quote to who just like was looking at it, you know, pretty frequently, and it's kind of because they don't know that I know that I'm getting notified. Is it like, is that a situation where I should reach out and maybe try and like connect with them, or is it they're comparing it to other quotes? Or, yeah. Okay.
I would, you might,
Yeah.
I think 100% you want to reach out to them. If you see someone opening your quote and looking at it a lot, 100% you should reach out, be like, hey, like at very minimum, reach out manually and be like, hey, did you have any questions? And I hear a lot of our users, they will actually say like, hey, I saw that you were looking at the quote. And I feel like some people would kind of find that creepy, maybe.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you want to say that, but but I mean, it's kind of, it's not an unreasonable thing. It's like they're opening your quote, so it's reasonable that you would have data on when it was opened. But I mean, I think it's going to get the same result if you just reach out and be like, hey, like just wanted to reach out and see if you have any questions about the quote, just let me know. And like the timing is going to be weird, but that's when they're looking at the quote. So that's probably when they're thinking about it. And very likely you're going to get a text back and be like, yeah, actually, like, do you have a minute for a call or something like that?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. That's good insight.
Absolutely. John, thanks for joining us. And just FYI, today we're not talking about anything specific. I don't have anything new. I have something new next week that's exciting, but this week we're just doing a general Q&A. So is there anything I can help you with regarding ProLine today? Everyone's just been asking questions.
Yeah, so I'm working on building my ProLine catalog a bit. I just printed out a price sheet. I'm going to start plugging things away into ProLine and stuff because I would actually like to start using this just because I think it's a step above like what you can currently do in a roofer. But what I wanted to ask though is like I can send you an example of like how they currently look, but basically in roofer we have like section headings and stuff. So whenever you're talking about the actual roof part, there's a section heading and then it kind of describes what the work looks like. And then below that, I have carpentry details in another heading. And, it's all highlighted a different sort of color to kind of separate it from the actual summary text that goes along with that particular section, right? But is there a way to kind of do the same sort of thing in ProLine's proposal software? Or are there any changes scheduled in ProLine where you can kind of possibly like change up the overall like look of the proposal in like the way that the fonts are displayed or the fonts that are used or anything like that? Or is it kind of just like this is what you have right now, maybe down the road like we'll implement that?
So down the road, we will be adding more customization around like fonts and stuff like that. I think it might be possible to do what you want to do. There just may be, it's just going to be a different approach in ProLine. I think, I mean, I haven't personally, and I don't really want to personally look at roofers quotes because we tried to do everything to be as original as possible in how we approach and solve the problems. But as far as like having multiple sections, there's several different ways you could approach that in the way that we do it. So one of those is adding in, you could add in multiple text pages. The main thing is if you have 2 pages and each one has its own header, and I can show you what this looks like with the quote generated too, if that's needed. But this is going to do a page break between. So that's the main kind of downside with this approach, is that you're not necessarily going to have this like individual sections on one page, if that's the way you want it to be laid out. But I have seen, for example, if you want to have a page that's just dedicated to like, here is how we handle carpentry, or here's how we handle this or that, you can do it as separate pages and then have a header for each. Additionally, though, you could build it out all inside of one of these pages. And I'm trying to think if you could, there's not a good way to like add different header sections though. I mean, we would love to have more like design elements and stuff, but I think that's basically the extent with just text right now. Is you can add in whatever text you want. You can have as many of these different pages, but they are going to end up being different pages. And so that's kind of up to you on how you want to split that up. You can right now, like you can have headers in here. So you could have a new section called carpentry, and you could make this heading 2, and then now you go down here and you have your text underneath carpentry. You could make this underlined. Is it necessarily as pretty as maybe having some sort of design element? Which sounds like Roofer has like a design element for sections or something. No, but it definitely would get the job done. Now, if you're looking to have unlimited creativity, and this is kind of where we have like this, or we have unlimited creativity, and there's pros and cons with both. If you want unlimited creativity, you can always add a custom page, and you can design a custom page outside of ProLine in something like Canva, and you can have everything as pretty with all your own fonts, and have it however you want. Export it, just needs to be letter sizing, standard letter sizing. Export it from Canva, upload it into the custom page. So this is an example of like a custom design page, and it's uploaded here into ProLine. It's going to load as a page in the quote. So if you want to get really fancy and have your quote look, incredible, you can get as fancy as you want with it. Another thing that Gavin, who's on the call, has done is he's created a really cool custom header image that can get put into these text pages, as well as into the option pages and then the signature pages. So it kind of ties everything together and makes everything look good, but it doesn't really achieve what you were asking about before.
What's the dimensions for those headers need to be at?
So the way the headers work is they can be whatever dimensions you want them to be. ProLine's just going to fit them width-wise, and then you can go down, you can have them be as tall or as small as you want. Now, if they're super tall, they're going to push all the text on the page onto another page, and it won't mess anything up, but it's just going to be going to kind of take up a lot of space. So it's really as tall as you want it to be, and then ProLine auto sizes the width. The custom pages are different because you're on the custom pages. Generally speaking, we do have a fit mode versus a cover mode. But if you want them to fill up the whole page cleanly like this, then you're going to want them to, I can re-upload this. You want them to match these dimensions. So we have some suggested dimensions. Depending on how good you can compress the image, generally fine to use the high quality sizing. But the good quality, usually you can't even tell the difference. It's just that you got to stay below the 2 megabytes, and ideally you would be below like 600 kilobytes, so around half a megabyte if you can get the image compressed. You can also upload PDFs. So this is where if you have like the roofer report, you can still have the roofer report be part of your quote, and you can upload that into this page as a PDF, and ProLine will automatically turn that into pages in the quote. So that's another thing that can be done. So yeah, I don't know if that did that answer your question? I mean, I know we probably don't have a perfect
Yeah,
one-to-one,
Um,
but
one other quick question. So like, let's say somebody sign, like, this is one thing that I haven't really looked into much on you guys' proposals and stuff, but is there an area where they fill out their color selections and things as well, or not so much?
no, that's a good question. So the way that we suggest handling that right now is through your signature page fields. So you can add in so roof color selection. That'd be a common field that you would want to have here, and you can have it be required when they sign the quote, so they have to fill it in. And then what you can also do is if you have a page from the manufacturer that has all the colors on it, you can upload that in as a custom page. Or if you wanted to, you can also add it as one of our gallery pages. So you could say like color options, add it as a gallery page, have it be like 4 per page because you don't need the images to be super big. You upload the colors of your shingles. I'm just going to use these and pretend like they're colors. And I'll, oh, yeah, this isn't the quote template. Didn't mean to do that. We'll create a quote with this in a second so you can see what this all looks like. So you can put in the color names here, and then you can say, and then here, people will know what to write in here. So there's lots of different ways you can handle it. We don't have a set way. It's like, this is how you handle color. It is something that we would like to have is like some sort of a drop-down system where you can set exactly what your color options are, and then they just select one. But that's something that we haven't tackled yet. So this is the way to do it right now, is to have it be a field, and usually you're going to want that to be required. So
that works.
all right. So out of curiosity, what you were saying that you felt like we had some functionality that was beyond what you could do with Roofer. What were you referring to? John, you there?
Yeah, I dropped my phone. I missed the question. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just curious. You were saying that you felt like there was functionality that we had that Roofer can't match on the quoting on the proposal side. What were you referring
Yeah,
to?
just the way you guys handle upgrades and things, versus lumping it all in with like a quote page and things. Like I like that. Like you have the ability to customize the header, which is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Like there's just a lot more customizability that I think that you guys have like pegged in that I mean, Roofer's great and all, but end of the day, like I'm not loyal to them. Like if I can make this work better for us, and I'm gonna go after that. So
Love that. We'll just keep making it better and better for you.
you always do.
Yeah, Matt, I don't know if you caught when John came in, but we're just doing a Q&A today, nothing specific. So yeah, if there's anything I can help you with, let me know.
It's a really stupid question actually, but
No
I
stupid
can't figure it
question.
out. Well, it kind of is, but email. So like on the cover page of the proposals, for some reason it has like my personal email on there and not like my company email, and I cannot figure out how to change it.
Yep. Okay. This is a little confusing. I would love to try to make it a little bit less confusing, but I haven't found a good way. There are 2 emails that are connected to your ProLine account. There is your login email, which is controlled here underneath your account settings and security. This should not be the email showing up on your quote. So I don't think this is unless I'm mistaken. If it is, I need to fix that. This should not be the email that's showing up on your quotes. The email that's
No,
showing
it's
up
not.
Okay. The emails that are showing up on your quotes should be the one that's connected on the integrations page. And this is the for the email and calendar integration. So this is the email that ProLine's going to use to send automations from. And generally this is going to be, so it's actually okay to have your login email be like your personal email. Not ideal, but you could. But this is the one here on the integrations page that you really need to have be the one that's public facing to your customer. So this is the one that
Gotcha.
ProLine's going to send automations from. It's also the one that anywhere we're publicly exposing an email to the customer, like on the quote page, we're always going to use this email. And then this is also the email that's for the calendar connection. So this is where you'll link your calendars to. That way, when ProLine, if you're using the calendar system in ProLine, whenever we send an invite to a customer for a calendar event, that invite's coming from your work calendar. So that's why that's all kind of under one roof.
Okay. I was struggling to find that. We were sending out like a $250,000 roof quote, and I just had like my mlaggers at Gmail on there. I was like, gosh dang, I cannot figure out how to change this. But that makes sense.
I know it's not a dumb question at all. I think it's a little confusing having the two emails. Now just out of curiosity, this would be helpful to me. Like, did you go to this page looking trying to figure out how to change that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, I probably need to add like a little box here or something that says, "Hey, FYI, this email is never exposed to customers. If you're trying to change the one that customers see and receive emails from, go here." So
And
that's
honestly,
really good to know.
too, where I went was the managed team. I went there too, and I had the same email. So I'm like, where the heck is this thing coming from?
That is really good feedback for me to know. So, yeah, I probably need to have just like a note underneath both of these with a link to the integrations page. So, good to know.
And then
Anything?
your upgrades, like your sample that you had going, like your upgrade pages, does it just have like the one line and it's blank? That's the only thing that's kind of I've wanted to change, but I don't want to have like a separate page for all of them. I'm just curious what yours looks like. Ours just has a ton of white space on it.
Yeah, there's depending on how you set it up, there can be a lot of white space. So, let's go ahead and generate this quote. Yeah, because are you talking about like lifetime pipe boots, for example, like as an upgrade?
Yeah, because we used Sumo Quote for our presentations before, and we had like 4 items on one page, and it's like, here's the price for this, and then it has like the same financing terms, so it's like this is adding $20 a month to your roof quote or whatever, and then it had like all of the same items on one page instead of like having a separate page for each item.
Yep. So we do have. So there's a couple ways to handle this, and why is that 2? Hold on a second. Should be 4. I don't know if that came over correctly. Okay. So I wanted to show that to John. There's right now each option and option or upgrade page is going to be anytime you have a new page inside of the quote, like we have it here, every one of these is going to have a page break after it. So none of these are ever going to be on the same page, including your options. So, and this is not necessarily going to be how it always is. It's something that I've been considering adding at some point. It's one of those, another thing that's, it's just prioritization of feature builds. But one of the things that I've considered is having sort of like a checkbox that says page or skip page break or page break here that you can turn on and off. That way you can have everything on one page if you wanted it to. So that is something that's potentially down the road. In the meantime, right now it is going to be a separate page, even if this is small. So if we go in here, well, it's not showing up on this page. And sorry, I'm calling back. John, this is what that would look like with the color options, and you could have the name of each one, but that's what they look like on the gallery page. Let me do this. So underneath lifetime pipe boots, we have this hidden. So we have this ability to hide, specifically hide your upgrades or options. And by hiding them, there's a difference between unselecting them. If I unselect it, this won't show up on my quote at all. Like there would be no ability to select this option. But if I leave it selected and I hide it using this eyeball here on the right, then it actually doesn't make a page for it at all. Because if you have these upgrades and you don't need, and like you're saying, it's mostly a blank page. Like you have a little tiny description, or you have the name, and there's nothing really else on the page. You don't need to show that page. All you really need is for the upgrade to show here on the signature page. You just want it to show here. So you don't necessarily need to have that full page. And so this is, you can see here, it doesn't show up. It doesn't have its own page. Now, if I do unhide it, which I think is what you're referring to, if it's unhidden, then yes, it will show that page and it's going to be mostly blank. So we'll pull this up in a second.
And then, so like when that comes down to the very like last page or whatever, like your selection page, it just shows the item and then the payment, or not the payment, but like the total price of it.
Right. That's all it will show
Okay.
on this page. So if that's all you need, and so what I have seen some people do, including, so my co-founder does this. He actually has a custom page that breaks down all of his, that our friend Chris Deal built out. Who he builds these out for companies, for specifically for ProLine quotes. And so he has a custom page that breaks down all the upgrades. And I'm pretty sure it's just these two upgrades, but he has them listed out in a description on a single page. And then he hides the ProLine page, so it's not showing this big page with the blank space on it, hides this page and replaces it with a custom page that has both items on one page with the description, and then just has it show up on the upgrades page. So if you hide this page, you're not necessarily like, there's no rule that says you can't have a different page that talks about this upgrade, but this is just what ProLine generates automatically, and you don't have to use it. You can hide this and use some other method to explain what your upgrades are. You still just need to have this for this, so that this gets properly generated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I like that.
So, and then, and this would not typically be here at the bottom. I put that there probably. So, okay. Is there anything else I can help anyone with today while we're on this call? You got me for another 15 minutes if you need me.
I'm gonna steal one more if nobody else has anything.
Go for it.
So like if we had generated a quote like you've got here on your screen, and then I go back and make some changes, and then I regenerate the quote, there are some times where it doesn't like change anything, and it basically just pulls up that same quote that I just had.
Yeah. Do you remember what you changed? Because basically I have because I'm trying to avoid regenerating the quote since it does take a few seconds. So I have it where it's like, I'm listening for changes. And sometimes when I add new features, I forget to add it to the listener. So do you remember off the top of your head what you had changed that didn't trigger that?
I think it was mostly just like the shingle options, like changing quantities or adding like line items to it or whatever, something like that. I would imagine it was.
Okay. If you could, like next time it happens, try to tell me exactly what it was. I'll double check all of them as far as like quantities go and all of that on the options and upgrades. So I will check all of it. I don't think I've made any changes to that recently though. So but if next time it happens, try to remember exactly what changes you made prior to that, and I will get it fixed. So yeah, that is definitely something for me to. I have it working, and then I come in here and make changes, and then get to update that.
How do you change the colors on your cover page and like that line separator? Like, can you change that away from blue?
Yep,
You know
absolutely.
what I'm talking about?
So yeah, so if you go into it's at the quote template level. So if you go to default quote settings, you can change the design theme color here to whatever you want it to be. So it can perfectly match your logo. Is typically how people want to do it. The other, you can just kind of cover the stuff in here. There's a lot in here now. It's getting to be a lot because I keep adding new options and settings here. We have your profit margin settings, deposit, rounding. So this is the most recent ad that we made was rounding. So you can, if you want to, you can have ProLine round up the pricing on your options to the nearest whole number, 10 or 100, and then also hide the cents if the cents are 00. Now, where this doesn't always work is if you're also adding discounts. If you have discounts on your quote that are percentage based, specifically percentage based, it's going to throw this off and you're still going to end up with cents, because this is always done to the subtotal and the discounts are applied to the subtotal. So it's just something to keep in mind. But we had some requests for this and so we went ahead and knocked it out. It allows you to have like more like simpler looking pricing if that's what you want. There's differing like opinions on this because a lot of people, I'm of the mind, and a lot of people would agree with me that a exact price down to the cent is going to look more accurate to the homeowner and therefore is going to be more acceptable. And that if you then round it like this makes possible, you're going to end up with homeowners that think you just chose a random price and are going to want to negotiate with you and stuff like that. So that would be if I'm pricing jobs, if I'm running my roofing business, which I don't currently have a roofing business, but if I had a roofing business I was running, that's the way that I personally would do it based on my past sales experience and my understanding of pricing. But not everyone agrees with that. So this allows you to try this for yourself. If you want to try rounded numbers and think that's better for your market, then you can, have that option. And then we have the discounts and line item price and quantity visibility. Any other questions that I can help with? We can definitely end it there unless somebody has any last second stuff. Thanks for coming today, guys. And yeah, this week was, I didn't really have anything specific. Next week, hopefully next week, I'm now putting a deadline on myself. Next week we will be releasing a rebuild of our automation engine. Hopefully by next Tuesday. It's very excited about it. John, this is partially something you've been asking about. It's I don't want to give away too much, but it is going to, at the very minimum, allow for you to run multiple campaigns at the same time for one project, or at least for the same contact. So you can have, if you have two projects for the same contact, it will no longer conflict the way it does now. So it will allow some more creativity with that. But there's going to be some other benefits as well. It's not going to allow for marketing campaigns, at least not the way people are going to want marketing campaigns to work. But that's going to still be another feature we add later in the summer. But it will still greatly increase the way, or improve the way that our automation engine works for projects. So I'm very excited about that. All right. And yeah, if you guys have any questions in the meantime, don't hesitate to reach out to us on the chat down here in the lower right hand corner, or you can schedule a free call. Most of those are with Edward, though I am jumping on a few here or there, but my time's pretty scarce, so it's generally Edward. But he's happy to hop on calls and walk you through whatever you need help with. He's also gotten really good at the quote templates. So if you're looking for any help with the quote template stuff, he can definitely help with that. At least on the ProLine side. He's not necessarily an expert in building roofs, but he does know how to set up our quotes. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming. We will wrap it up there.